you've seen the film that we've come up with. This wasn't a story that came just out of the blue. The whole team sat together for a few days, putting together different stories, and so we're able to select a story that we felt, based on all the advice that we received, would be shootable within the amount of time that we had. So that's one of the things that we're going to be diving deeper into, filmmaking, the whole filmmaking process. So we touched on writing for screen. We learned significantly that screenwriting is distinct from all the other types of writing for different dramas, rather different mediums. So of course we learned about writing for stage and we learned about writing for audio. But one of the things that really came out about writing for screen was the fact that it required action. This was something that we got to understand was different from, say, writing for audio, where the audience is really the listener. So a lot of our scripts had to be taken through the panel beating process of, does it reveal action? Does it tell story through body? Does it tell story through language, the dialogue that we select, which is something that we tried to achieve when we came to the final script for this film. The other thing we learned about that was important in writing for film was the fact that we had to develop strong characters. A lot of film is different from the typical way you go to the theater and you see people performing and they rely on their bodies. Here we had to really rely on the fact that the person is performing to the camera. The character, the actions are a lot more subtle, the emotion is a lot more subtle. So we really had to delve deep into creating our characters and really write interesting characters, because unlike theater where someone is seated for 2 hours, with film someone can easily decide to switch off. So we really needed to find a way of crafting our characters, getting into their backstory, understanding who they are. Actually, with a film that we finally decided, we really realized the need to develop their backstories, so that the acting later on would come out more authentically and the story would make sense. Finally, we also talked about, we touched on formatting our scripts. We learned about the different programs that we're able to use, like Celtex, others like Writing Duet, and different platforms out there that are available to beginners like ourselves to be able to format our scripts in the correct way, starting with, of course, being able to have our title page formatted well with all our contact details, and then later on to allow for actors to be able to understand the distinction between their role, their actions, and also their dialogue. So that was something very important. Once we were done with writing for screen, we were able to come together and start our casting. This was such an interesting process because we have a variety of skills in this room and talent. So we had to choose based on who was able to bring up the character the best and really convey what we're doing. So for a while here with Mr. Q, we went through different actors. But one of the things we learned about acting for film was that, as I said before, we are performing for camera. The ability for the actor to make that connection. And secondly, for them to really embody the characters so that they are believable. I think that's one thing that we really emphasized, the need for credibility within the acting and also the story. But another thing we learned is that, and we also learned within the other classes, was the need for collaboration between the actors and everyone on set really, but more importantly within the actors, within the relationship of the actors. We had different tasks and exercises where we really saw the need for actors to have the same kind of energy so that they feed off each other, because yes, acting is reacting. It's something that we continue to repeat to ourselves. So there was a need to have respect for one another, really respect the set, respect the director, so that the project comes together, the film comes together, and that it communicates. So finally, once we had selected our script, we were able to go into directing it. So we learned that the director is really the vision bearer of the whole film. Not only are they involved on the image, the final image as it appears on screen, but they're also involved with all the background work, making sure that everyone is taken care of, making sure that the actors understand their characters. So this is a very big responsibility for directors, because we learned that films run on money, essentially. Films, every day that you're on set, it costs money. So this is a responsibility that the director has to bear in mind, that time is being used wisely. But once they have put their crew together, they're able to now begin breaking down a script. So this is another responsibility of the director, to be able to understand the story, understand what the writer was trying to convey, and then begin to break it down in a way in which it will be shootable when it comes to set. And really going deep into the characters, understanding their why, so that they're able to convey this message to their actors as well. The other responsibility of the director is to be able to direct their actors adequately. We learned about different techniques which actors can use. We learned about the way that they should handle their actors so that they respect them, but also the way that they should remain in control of the project so that they don't get overtaken by different people asking them about different things, and maybe at times even undermining their role on the film.